We are live on the Buck and 2MC show. Alexis, tell everybody who we are and what we're doing.
What's up, everybody? Y'all already know myself, Alexis Hornbuckle, Maria Cornelius, bringing you the best post-game Lady Vol news, updates, and thoughts. You get it from the media perspective. You get to hear what the coach had to say, what the players had to say, and then, of course, you get my little bit of opinion as a former Lady Vol player. So thank you for tuning in. And big shout out to Orange Mountain Designs, who brings this show, Volunteer Road Show as well. And make sure, stay active, ask questions, leave comments. We appreciate you. But remember, this is all about love. Don't bring that negative stuff in here. All right? Maria, take it away.
And look, this game curled my hair even more. Just looking at myself coming back. What an incredible game. And what have you said for the last month about closing out games? Just here's your opportunity, Alexis. Go for it.
Ladies, I'm so proud of y'all. Congratulations for stepping up, overcoming a deficit, being down double digits, bonding together, continuing to fight, making big-time plays, getting big-time stops. Were there mistakes being made? Of course, it's part of the game. But the most important part was we fought. We looked like Tennessee Lady Vol basketball, and I was proud to be a Lady Vol, former Lady Vol, watching this game, being able to brag, being able to just be happy to see the direction that they're headed. Kelly has some great matchups out, and it worked well together. Big-time players make big-time plays. Coach Summit always said that, and there were some big-time plays made down the stretch by multiple players.
Yeah, they were down 16 points. I mean, yep. It was first quarter, Ray Burrell basically did her thing, and it was tied 16-16. And then South Carolina got separation. Tennessee looked tired. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. In the second quarter, they looked tired. And we all know they had a 77-hour road trip to Texas and back and only got home on Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
So South Carolina took advantage. They were getting in transition. They got ahead 37-25 at halftime. And Kelly Harper, she told her team. Now Kelly was upset with the refs all game long. I mean, at one point she turned around and walked towards us so she couldn't see them. And it's probably good she had a mask on. But she told her team at halftime that they were soft. Told her players they were soft. Renaya Davis did not have a bucket at halftime. She had rebounds, but she did not have a basket.
Yep.
Renaya Davis had 24 points this game. And she said in the post game, I took that personally when Kelly Harper called us soft. And if that's what it takes to get you fired up and to find something in your tank when there was nothing in your tank, I mean, that's a heck of a comeback. So Kelly pushed the right buttons in this case. I wonder who taught her that.
I know, right? Straight from Coach Summit. Straight from the Summit. That was big. And I said, man, we can't win this game if Ree doesn't step up. We need her in order to get this win. Shout out to the Jordans. Shout out to Destiny coming in, making big time plays. Energy. I love it. Walker has some clutch and ones down the stretch, right? Hate that Key fouled out, but she was doing a great job in there. It's just that last foul kind of controversial, but if it's me, Key, if you're back in this situation, release, drop step, beat them to the spot. Make her change direction. Hope that your teammates there for a little help side or they pick up the ball because, we need you on the court, but I'm glad that the Lady Vols were able to come together and we can pull out a big-time win at the Summit.
And before she fouled out Tamari's defense, I mean, she just swatted shot after shot inside. Oh, yeah. There was nothing easy coming inside. And when South Carolina couldn't connect from the arc, that basically put them that you knew with about a minute to go that Tennessee was going to hang on to this lead.
Yeah, they made me nervous in that last little minute when we were playing hot potato with the basketball and making a few crazy turnovers and then lucking up and getting it back. That one had me nervous. Okay, those few possessions definitely had me on the edge of my seat.
How do you close out a game? You do it at the line. I can't think of anybody else you'd want at the line at the end of a game than Renee Davis. She just
Money time.
yeah. And
Money.
Jordan Horston, cannot say enough about her. She is battling back issues, foot issues. She didn't start today because she's day to day, and they probably tried to give her a little time to just loosen up, feel a little better. And she had, I believe, 12 points, 5 assists, 0 turnovers against the best defense in the SEC. That's a clutch player right there.
If you didn't say it, I was gonna say it. Yep, that is a clutch player. That's what you're looking for. And we actually spoke about that last night in the call, bringing her off the bench, getting her nice and warm, allowing her to see and read the game. Walker did a good job starting, and it just kept working out. It was like every play made us, our Lady Vols, believe in each other or believe in the outcome a little more. Every single play, even when we went down, that run that we made right after that, you can just see it. I can feel it. It was good to see and to watch, and I hope that we continue this, ladies. This should only be the beginning of keeping it consistent. We've seen it in spurts. Still need to see a complete game. Still would love to see a 40-minute game played. But bottom line is, if we can bring the type of tenacity and energy and focus and determination to win, we're going to be all right.
What Tennessee did tonight that was especially good for them is they put themselves back in the driver's seat to get one of those first round or double byes in the SEC tournament. They go to 7-3.
Yeah.
The game, of course, is Georgia. Georgia beats you, and you got to go to their house now. They are right back on the road. But definitely, I would think a player, and you can answer this, Alexis. After a game like this, does that put a little more bounce in your step when you go back on the road?
It does. It does. You got a home win, but you got an upset. And it's a complete momentum shift, a complete confidence booster. Now they need to continue the rest of the season like we are the team to beat. You're going to have to play up to our level. We can't come out timid. We can't be soft. We have to go to dominate. I've been saying it since the beginning. We saw it in spurts, especially when we needed it in the second half. But I need to see it for 40 minutes because I believe that team has it in.
I'm remembering to share on
social.
Yeah, I got to do that. I did it on Twitter for those staying up late. We want to shout out our sponsors, of course, OrangeMountainDesigns.com. I'm wearing the left foot, right foot Breathe Pat Summit mask, and Blue Water Climate Control and Tennessee Tap House. As I've said before, you get clothes, you get beer, you get heat. That's all you need to get you through February. So please support our sponsors who make this show possible and keep Alexis and I up late at night.
Yeah.
This is, you and I have had to do, a couple shows after tough losses. And
this one feels
as a media member, I can't, I have to stay detached from it. I can't get emotionally caught up in it. But what would describe yourself in the second half watching this game at home?
I'm standing up. I'm yelling at the TV. I'm excited. I'm talking. Okay, we need to stop here. This needs to happen. And they're executing. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. It's just, it was good to just watch and be a fan and feel like I'm speaking, what coach taught us, what the Tennessee way is, and watching them do it. It was a great feeling, okay, we should be doing this. We should be doing that, bow, you see them execute or something close to it or something similar. So I was excited. I was over here coaching. I was a fan. I was nervous. And bottom line is, ladies, we did that.
We got George in here that says he's really a Florida Gator, but he loves Tennessee and loves you guys. He keeps telling me to take my mask off. George, I wish I could. If I was at home, I would. But in the arena, I have to wear it. It's policy, and I'm on media row, and there's people around me, so I cannot take off my mask or I will have to leave the building. And I don't want to leave the building because I still got work to do. So I got to keep it on. That is the rule. And that's why I have to wear the mask and shout my way through it. I want to look at a couple numbers. Tennessee barely won the rebounding battle.
Yeah.
30-28. They were down at halftime. South Carolina, which is one of the best. Tennessee and South Carolina are 1-2 rebounding in the league.
Mm-hmm.
There was not an uncontested rebound. There's probably about 20 uncalled fouls on rebounds. It was an absolute brawl.
Yeah,
in there. What did you see on the rebounding end? I mean, I could hear them. I could hear them hitting each other.
Flashing.
Yes.
It was a lot of fighting down there, and I loved it. I loved it on both sides. I mean, shout out to South Carolina as well. They play hard, they play tough, and you expect that. But to see us respond, like it was one time I believe Boston came down, went at Cassie. Then Cassie comes down, goes back at her, and I'm like, this is basketball. This is what we should be watching night in and night out. And it was just one of those things. It's like, okay, we're battling tonight. We have a chance. That's how I felt, Maria. I could see the battle. I could see the fight. I could see them playing with heart, and I truly believe that we could get this upset, and I'm glad we did.
When they went down 44-29 in that third quarter, I mean, you could tell it was a tipping point. Either South Carolina was going to win by 20. I mean, they're already up 15.
Right.
Or Tennessee was going to get back in the game. And they absolutely flipped that script in that third quarter. And there's not a lot of people allowed in the arena, of course, because of COVID-19 protocols. It sounded like 5,000 in here. I mean, it sounded like they had filled up the lower bowl.
Yeah.
So a shout out to the fans that were here, because y'all were loud. And I mean, y'all were loud. And that can make a difference to a team, particularly a team whose tank has to be empty like it was tonight.
Oh, yeah. Everybody stood tall at the right moments. Like you said, somebody said we need to give Ray deserves more recognition. She carries the team, her and Ray and Reed, Renai Davis and Ray Burrell. And we can't really position ourselves to play for a championship if both of those young ladies aren't cooking on all cylinders, on top of obviously Cassie and Key holding it down in the paint. Horston being hurt, these girls have to perform, to kind of give Horston that time to get herself together. Again, Walker come out. So it's not that we're not giving anybody more recognition. We just speak the game how it comes. Maria started out with how well Ray held down the fort, kept us in the game a little bit for the half. So we give people the recognition deserved. Just know that, okay?
Donna Hairston said, I screamed as loud as I could. Donna sits near media row, so I can confirm that. Donna was screaming. Maybe it was her. Maybe it was someone in her party, but they were giving the refs absolute hell in this game. They had a lot to say. And when it's so empty, they're hearing everything. So,
Oh, yeah.
And it was a poorly called game. And I said it on Twitter. This is one of the worst officiated games I've watched. It's It made it very hard for either team to get in a rhythm, particularly in that first half, because the whistles are just baffling sometimes. So, but Tennessee, they checked some boxes tonight that they hadn't been able to check before, which is the officials are awful. You can't let it get to you. You can't let it affect your play, and you can't make a comeback against a team if you're not making defensive stops.
Facts.
I don't care how many points you score. If you've spotted them 15 points in the third quarter, you got to get stops.
That's it. It comes down defense generates offense. Need the stops, and they did that. Man, somebody said, ask if I got as high. Okay, Buck, did you yell and jump as high as I did when Ray gave Walker the assist with the layup and the foul? Yes, I jumped up, had even a little fist pump, walking around flexing in the house, all that.
Yeah, Jordan Walker and Ray Burrell both just put their head down and went to the basket. And in an and one play, it's the same as a 3-pointer. It just gets everybody. I mean, the Tennessee's bench, they didn't sit down for the last 3 minutes.
I couldn't see it a lot, but when it pans and you see people jumping and Key was losing it at the end of the game. So yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, and because the benches are spread out, the officials aren't telling them to sit down. Like, on the bench, you can't have more than one person. Well, the officials are like, well, they're all spread out, so they're jumping around like fans are. Tyler Co 91 said, "Do you think officially we can contend from what you've seen and how we're progressing?" What do you think, Alexis?
Yeah, I think we can contend. I'm always going to probably biasly say yes because I expect us to be able to contend. But if they continue to show the type of fight and cohesiveness that they brought tonight on both ends of the court and gutted it out and found a way to win, yeah, we can. We have a very good chance to contend. We have a very good chance of playing in the SEC championship. We have a very good chance of having a better seed going into the NCAA championship. But this can't be a one-time thing. This can't be a one and done. They can't get on cloud nine and then not bring it to the Georgia game. So.
And George, I promise I'm good. I got a Pat Summit mask on, and I can breathe. So don't worry about me. I appreciate you, but I'm okay, and I won't. I'll be out of here in a little bit. Let's look at some other key stats. Turnovers, 13 to 13. That was it.
Against you're talking about two teams, high pace, physical game. You kind of got to expect a higher number of turnovers, to be honest. So 13, that's actually not that bad.
No, anything under 15. I know y'all were under 12, but but they had 8 to start in the first half, so they just had 5 in the second half. Points, obviously, we mentioned Renaya, 24. Ray Burrell finished with 19. Jordan Horston, 12 points, 5 assists, and of course, we mentioned the no turnovers. But you had key baskets. I mean, Jordan Walker's ability to get to the rim. Destiny Sowery, I think she made 1 basket, but what a basket!
What a basket! And her energy was felt.
She caught a pass that she could have mishandled, came down with it, and just made the shot. Ray and Renaya showed why WNBA scouts are looking at them with a lot. But here's the biggest stat, and Alexis, you can talk about how hard it is to do this. South Carolina won 28 straight SEC games in the regular season. They did not lose last year. They started this season 12-0. This is the hardest league in the country. I mean, shout out to South Carolina for maintaining that kind of dominance in this conference.
Absolutely. Dawn and her coaching staff, they've been holding it down. I mean, they've had those girls flat out playing, flat out having people really fear them. Like, oh man, we got to play South Carolina tonight. And that's nothing but respect. And I hope Tennessee can get back to that and give South Carolina a run for their money and get back on top. But shout out to Dawn Staley and her staff and the Lady Gamecocks, because that's huge. But shout out to the Lady Vols for breaking that streak.
Yeah, that's a game. This is a game that gives you. I mean, it just gives you confidence that you don't want to lose 3 straight and then go back on the road. I mean, that's not a good mental situation. Let's shout out OrangeMountainDesigns.com again. Please support our sponsors, Blue Water Climate Control and Tennessee Tap House. I will say, Dawn Staley in the post game was excellent. I mean, she made no excuses. She said they flat out beat us. I mean, period. And I mean, she credited Tennessee, and that's so shout out to Dawn Staley. And I mean, both Dawn and Kelly, every time the whistle blew, both coaches just threw their arms up. So it was and Key was getting hooked on defense, trying to stop South Carolina inside. And John Harper, he sits on the back row where the post sits. Kelly's husband, of course, an assistant coach. He was screaming at the refs. He jumped up to where Kelly is and started mimicking the hooking and screaming. And Kelly finally had to turn. I couldn't see because Kelly's got a mask on. But I think she told him to sit down and be quiet. She's afraid he's going to get a technical.
Right. And we didn't need that tonight. We didn't need that.
No, but I don't blame John. I mean, he's the post coach, so he's taken up for his player,
Absolutely.
and I think Kelly set a record for one-on-one conversation with officials, and I can only imagine the conversation was like, "What are you doing?" I mean, that's the only legitimate conversation I can think of having. So it was a fun night to be in Thompson Bowling, and it's a game that Tennessee needed, and it was a team win. Everybody who took the court did something, and even the players that didn't play, they did something. I mean, they're jumping around, they're cheering, they're encouraging. One very interesting thing that Renaya said in her post game was that when they were on the road, a lot of times they couldn't charge their phones. They couldn't use their phones. Now you might as well cut a kid's arm off in this day and age is not have a phone. She
Right.
said they had to talk to each other. They had to have one-on-one conversation or group conversations. And she said we talked about a lot of things, and we talked some things out. And what's your reaction to that, Alexis? Because you guys the phones were not that big a deal yet when you were in college.
Phones taken on the road, number one. We had them on the bus and the flight, but when you got off, like when we landed in that wherever we were playing, they took the phones. But it's called maturation. Like they're maturing. They realize, hey, it's more than just basketball. We need to talk. We need to be on the same page. We don't all have to like each other, be best friends off the court, but we have to respect each other. So we need to find common ground. So, that's big that they were able to settle some things, whatever those things were, but also get to genuinely know each other. So that trust factor goes up, when it's on the court. Like I know they have my back. I've been through some stuff, they've been through some stuff. So let's have each other's back no matter what. And that might be what we've seen tonight. And that might be exactly what it was needed, or what is needed for us to continue on to a path where we can be competing for championships. And I hope that was, what we needed. We'll see though.
Yeah, I mean it's still one of the strangest seasons I've ever covered in my life. It's just bizarre. Robin Corby said I was screaming "Go Lady Vols," talking to the TV like I always do. My husband was like, "What the hell's going on?" I was so happy. We got to get Robin. Your husband's got to get in the game, man. You gotta get. But I understand because I am also a sports fan, and there are teams I pull for. Everybody knows I'm a lifelong Tar Heel, and that's what I do when North Carolina plays. I am screaming at the television and pacing. When the Atlanta Braves are in the playoffs, I don't sit down for a 4-hour baseball game. I pace the entire house the whole time. So I certainly understand. To give an idea of what an unusual night it is, the only teams that played tonight were Alabama and Florida, and that game was at Florida, and Tennessee, South Carolina. Every other SEC game was canceled because of weather.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
So we're fine in Knoxville. We don't have anything. Do y'all have anything where you live? I mean, we basically got some rain and slush.
Yeah, a little bit of rain, cold, and some parts of North Carolina. Yeah, it's bad, icy, and all that, especially closer to the mountains, boom, all that stuff. But where I'm at, just cold and rainy, really.
Yeah, it's just that's what it is here, gray and cold. But we don't have snow. Apparently, the only ones in the country who do not. But I think I've got all the stats. Tennessee, of course, is now 7-3 in the SEC, 13-5 overall. South Carolina ranked number 2 in the country, 17-3 now, 12-1. South Carolina is still an absolute contender.
Absolutely.
But what Tennessee has shown, and it is showing itself, is that it can compete with anybody in the country. Literally any team in the country, Tennessee can compete with them.
Facts. And that's how we need to walk around. That's how we need to approach every practice, workout, and especially the games, ladies. You got this. Stay locked in. Stay in tune with each other. Cell phones, you're not going to die if you don't have them for like an hour. Do a team bonding thing where, I'm sure 1 or 2 people cook, if I don't know even if they're allowed to do that during the pandemic. spend some time together, and just talk, because you're going to have to be on the same page to win, to contend, and especially win championships.
Yeah, they can't do any team, very little team, even pregame meal. They have to sit 6 feet apart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's kind of tough. Maybe do a team Zoom call, get together, do like some game nights or something. It's tough, but I think that's necessary.
I agree. And the way they reacted tonight, they're obviously a team. And that road trip, one good thing about that road trip in Texas is that, like Benaya said, we were forced to talk to each other a lot because that's all we had. You had no electricity, no phone, no warm food. So you got to get each other through it. Kelly did say it was a very stressful 3 days because the coaches and the operations people are having to make decisions about what do we do. Is it safe? Do we get on this bus? Do we get on this plane? She said the players, she was proud of them. They were rolling through it without any issues. But she said as a coach, being responsible for these young ladies, it's very stressful because the decisions you're making, everything has to be safety first. So
right. Yeah.
But they made it. And they're home, and Orange Mountain Designs is very happy tonight. I know Terry's happy. People shot more when they're happy. So go to orangemountaindesigns.com and get on Terry's website. Go to Tennessee Tap House, Blue Water Climate Control. Please take care of those who take care of this show, because I know everybody enjoys being here and talking about the Lady Vols. Alexis, you have any final thoughts before we close it out? We're not going to keep everybody up too late.
Right, including myself. My final thoughts are this, ladies. You showed tonight that you can compete, like Maria said, you can compete with anyone in the country. We've seen it in spurts. Now it's your turn to just believe it and go out and handle your business and take what you want. You want the ship? Go take it. All right? Nobody's going to give it to you. People don't have – this game will not give you the respect and the fear that you need to waltz through a championship in the SEC or the NCAA. You have to continue to get wins like this and then some. And then we can start to get a little cocky. But until then, remain humble, focused, play hard. We're always in your corner. All right. Everybody that tuned in and watched, we thank you from all platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or if you just logged on to the volunteerroadshow.com. Remember to like, follow, and share. Maria, take us out.
I will say that you said it before, just a little wisdom for the evening. The worst kind of a player is a player who thinks she's better than she is, because that player doesn't know what to work on, probably doesn't even think they need to work on anything.
Right.
The worst writer is a writer who's confident that they write well. The best writers know every word sometimes can be a struggle. And am I writing this well? Am I doing it well? If I got the context right? Every writer, every time you sit down to write, you're not this, everything I write is great. No, you kind of write in fear half the time that you're going to do something stupid or wrong. And you don't, every writer I've ever met that was overly confident, when I look at their stuff, I'm like, this is terrible. Because you think you're a good writer and you're not getting any better.
Right.
With officials, there was one official in particular that made some of the worst calls I've seen in a college basketball game. And then the body language was, yeah, that's right. That's a good call. I'm like, no, it's a terrible call. I mean, it's the same kind of attitude. I'm doing great. No, you're not. You really are not doing great.
Great analogy. I love it.
Oh, I do want to shout out, too. They had a lot of cutouts for Lady Vol breast cancer survivors and those fighting. Two of the cutouts in the stands tonight are Liza Graves and Suzanne Barbary Singleton, former Lady Vols, also breast cancer survivors. So it was a good night to live pink, bleed orange. So congratulations to the Lady Vols, because I think you made a lot of people believers in what you can do. You got to go on the road to Georgia. That's not going to be an easy game. Georgia's playing really well. I mean, you can look really good, and then you go to Georgia, and you know how it is. You are in game-to-game status. So
you got to bring it. You have to have the same focus, the same attention to detail, and the same desire to win at all costs. Otherwise, it's not going to turn out the way that we want or how it should be.
And what did Pat Summit always say? You never arrive at my program.
Never.
Never. You can
Always.
be better. Yeah.
Yes, you can always strive. You can always get better at something. Always. Shout out to you, Coach Summit.
Yeah. She may have been in the building tonight having a little fun, maybe knocking some balls out of bounds or something. I don't know.
You're funny. Oh man. All right.
Thanks for staying up with us. I'll let you do the peace out and tell everybody what they need to do for the rest of the night, which is probably get some rest.
Definitely go get some rest. Again, can't stress it enough. Press the thumbs up, press the hearts, like it, share, follow, give us feedback. What are we doing right? What would y'all like to see more of? Until then, y'all can catch us every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Buck and 2MC show where we talk Lady Vol sports. We have a little fun. We throw out some encouragement. And we just want y'all to know that we love you. And until next time, go Lady Vols.
We'll see you Sunday after the Georgia game, which I don't know what time it is, but I'll figure it out by then. I'm game to game here. All right. Yeah. Peace, y'all.
Bye.